this is Hooked by Happenstance. I'm Kendra, and it is time for another episode of Freaker Frog. Freaker Frog is my ongoing series where I face my fear of the unfinished. I go into, usually, my crate of unfinished whips. I pick something out, and then I decide if I'm going to freak out about it, add it to my on the hook list, and get moving on getting it done. Or I'm going to frog it, reclaim that good yarn, because good yarn does not belong in bad projects, and then put it to different use. Well, let me tell you, we are going to do a slightly different variation on Freaker Frog today, because I've already picked the items. I'm actually going to go through several, but I wanted to mention something first. The sweater that I am wearing right now that has wood on it, because I just filled the wood stove, I made this over the last couple of days, and this was actually reclaiming good yarn out of a bad project, which had already reclaimed good yarn out of a bad project. So this cardigan here, I'll turn around so you can see the back. I like the way it has turned out. I made this pattern up on the fly. This is made out of, I believe this is Lion Brand Jiffy, and this might be this like kind of reddish variegated one, might be thick and quick. But I had made a number of hats and fingerless mitts for sale when I was selling items at craft shows. And I had a retail space, which I was also trying to fill out at the time, and that was why I made these. And I'd found the yarn on really good sale. Well, I had not sold all the hats and mitts, and I really wasn't happy with the size they turned out. Like, they didn't turn out, I followed the pattern. That is the problem. I did not make the adjustments that I should have, and I knew better. So I frogged them, and I had made them into this giant wrap that, again, I had freehanded, and it was really fun to make. I enjoyed the process. I actually enjoyed the shape, and I enjoyed wearing it. It was, like, huge and drapey and, like, a weird, long triangle. It was asymmetrical. However, it was big and heavy, and it didn't stay in place when I wore it. If I had, like, a desk job where I could just wrap in it, and then it would look nice, and I'd stay that way all day at work, it would be fine. However, that's not the life I live. I do a lot of up and down and picking things up and cooking, and it was always like, I'm gonna burn it on the stove, or it's falling off when I pick something up, or let the dog in and out, and it was just not good. So, I frogged it, and I was gonna make like a cape kind of thing, and so I started that, which is why the neckline at the top is a little weird. I think that when I wash this, though, because there's wool content in it, I haven't washed it yet. I finished it last night, but I think that it'll chill out a little around the neck. But so I started that, and then I just worked down, and as I was making it, all of a sudden I was like, I think I have enough yarn here that I could make a short sleeve cardigan. And as I put the piece on that was the beginning of the cape thing, it was warm, and I was like, this would be perfect as like a kind of cropped cardigan that I could wear over dresses and things. So I kept going, and I used up all the scraps I had, and then I wanted a little bit more ribbing around the front and the neck, so I had a skein of wool ease in black, and so I just held it double because the other yarns were bulky, and I went around the neck and made it up as I went along, and here I have a cardigan that I'm happy to wear. And I took good yarn out of a bad project and made it into a better project. It still wasn't the perfect project, so I took it out and made it into one that will be more useful in my everyday life. So that is the story of this yarn and why Freaker Frog works. So, I have been in the process of moving things around in my office, moving my yarn around. I've used up so much yarn, people, so much. So I am looking at 5 of the drawers in my office are full of not yarn, but finished garments that I can choose to wear every day. That's so many. So, I have also, in the process of going through them, I decided that things that I don't wear or don't really love the shape or style of, they have to go. I have already frogged several of these items, but I have a few left that I thought I would share with you before I do what I'm going to do with them. So I've already made the decisions. We're just going to talk about it. So, the one that's on top is this. I actually have already started working on what I'm going to do. This was just a triangle shawl made out of some Lion Brand Heartland in gray. I used all of the yarn that I had, and I've worn this shawl a decent amount. Did I make it last year? I think I made it last year. But I wore it a decent amount. It just wasn't quite as big as I would have liked to be big and squishy. So what I did, I bought some more gray yarn with the intent to just make this one bigger. But I think that in my new handmade wardrobe, what I think I would prefer to have it be is more of like a poncho-ish shawl. A shawl that will stay on by itself, basically. So I took the ends and I overlapped them a little bit. I tried this all on and figured out where it would lay the nicest. And then I like pinned that and I tried it on several ways, and this will ultimately be a good solution. And I have another skein of this gray that I'm going to add in, and I might add in a couple color accents. I have more Heartland in some other colors. We will see. I actually was thinking in bed, do you wake up thinking about crochet projects? Because I do. I actually frequently will make snap decisions because I'll wake up and if I think of a thing and I'm like, this is what this yarn really wants to be, that's the thing that needs to happen. Because if I woke up and thought of it, like, that's a pure thought. That is not a thought that is tainted by, like, overthinking, right? But I'm going to, I've marked a couple spots on it, and I'm going to build this out so that it becomes like this shape. And it's going to become asymmetrical. It's a good thing. But I think that it might end up being gray and pink. And I think I might frog a pink hat that I made out of Heartland for myself. To add to this. But if I do that, I'll talk about it in a podcast when it's all done, probably. Or maybe in a future Freak or Frog. But this is definitely getting freaked out about because I want to wear the finished object. I would really like this. I've kind of been thinking on doing this to this shawl for a while. So I'm looking forward to getting more done on it. And the next thing that's here in this pile is this, which is a Poncho Cape. I don't know. It's a thing that goes around your neck, but your arm sticks out this hole. I made up the pattern myself as I went along. This is made out of two, I think these are burnout pops. Is that right? This one is called Lipstick on My Collar. I think that's the burnout pops color. Yeah. There's two. There's one that has all of these grays in it, and there's the one that has the gray and the white and the pink. And I kind of made this pattern up as I went along. It turns out to be kind of a jaunty, artistic looking thing when it's on. I like the way it looks. I just don't choose to wear it very often because I have very few things to wear under it that I like it with. And so if I'm not going to wear it, there's no point in me having it. So I am going to frog this yarn out, I think. And turn it into, it has the, I usually wear it with this particular brooch, so I just leave the brooch on it because I don't wear it with anything else. But I think I'm going to frog it. I know people liked this when I made it, when I wore it, whatever, but if I'm not wearing it, it's doing nobody any good to just have it sitting in one place. And it also is, oh here, this makes it look better. You can see it better now. I had to figure out how to kind of fold it, and this is what happens when I wear it. The back kind of ends up folded. If you want to see it on me, I know for certain that I wore it in my New Year's resolution video from 2017. I'm wearing this. This is gonna get frogged, and it's gonna become something I like even better because I think that I got what I needed out of this project. I got something that I liked. I figured out too that, like, I don't have to follow shapes and constructions that other people are doing or think are the right way to do things. Because frequently those things are not my favorite things that I make, and the process of them is definitely not my favorite. Just following somebody else's written pattern, it's just doesn't make my brain feel as good. So this will be frogged and become something else, quite possibly with these two yarns together. I also have a burnout pop that is pinks and purple and white, so I might do all three of them together to make something. But I will think on that more after I frog this. Which I do have to say, when I use yarn that you buy in a cake, it always feels kind of weird to me because I feel like, less so now because more and more things are being sold in cakes. But for a long time you were paying a premium for them to cake your yarn instead of scanning it in any other way. And so I use the yarn of the cake, that's all well and good. But if I decide to frog the item, or if I frog it midway, I am now hand rolling a ball, which I love hand rolled balls. But I paid a premium to have it caked. And now I am using it, uncaking it, and then balling it by hand. I could have just balled by hand from a different put up and paid less money. It bothers me. Again, like I say, as more stuff's being put up in cakes, there's probably less of a premium being paid for that. But there was definitely a time when they were first putting up yarn that way that was totally what you were paying for. Okay, another thing that I found that I'm going to frog, I've already frogged several. These are cozies that fit like a water bottle or a can. They actually, I'd figured out the right size. These are pretty stretchable and go around a number of different things at different, you know, heights. Like they're very short on certain things and tall on others. But I had made these again when I was selling stuff. I actually made them to go to some outdoor craft shows. And these are the things that are left, and I'm not using them, and I don't want to gift them because I don't think people actually like being gifted these, at least the people in my life. They're not useful. If this is something that you would use, you would purchase it yourself. It's not something that I would give to people. I know lots of people gift this stuff, but the people in my life would not appreciate them or, like, use them. So I'm better off just frogging it and reclaiming the cotton yarn. It'll go into cotton yarn stash to be used for something else. Yeah, these are the last of what I have. I already did a few of them, and I'm just adding those balls to the bag. So that is what I am going to freak out about, is that, the gray thing. And I'm going to frog the poncho-y thing and those cozies, and then I'm going to get back to working at whittling down my on the hook list, which is frankly getting quite whittled. Though I do keep adding new projects along the way, and there will be more talk about those as I get to them. I am going to go and enjoy my new cozy cardigan, which, by the way, is super warm. This Jiffy yarn is really warm, which is part of the reason why I'm glad that I made it short sleeve, because it's like helping me to regulate body temperature. And earlier my hands were cold, so I just wore some fingerless mitts, and it was fine. Alrighty, I will see you all next time. Bye!